Hello, everybody. This is Chris Butler with Rusty Barn. We're very excited to welcome you to Wild Wednesday Live. This is presented, of course, by the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival. We're very, very close to being able to do live in-person shows, but until then, we really need your support. Thank you so much for all the support you've given us. Our vendors count on it. That's how they're staying in business until we get back to events, and us too, frankly. We hope that you'll make our vendor mall your first stop in all your shopping needs and that you'll continue to tune in each week for the show. Thanks again, and we hope you enjoy this week's episode of Wild Wednesday Live, and we'll see you in the mall. Thanks.
We'll try that again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Wild Wednesday Live. I'm your host this week, Raylene Salazar from Quilters Haven. Before we get started, we want to go over a few things. We just, first of all, want to remind you that all four vendors today are going to be offering a very special discount that's good as soon as the show's over and until midnight tomorrow night, Thursday. So each one of them will let you know what that is. But also, if you go to our website, thequiltcraftsewmall.com, which is scrolling on your screen, in the middle of the page, you'll see our Wild Wednesday logo. If you click the link below it, that is going to take you directly to today's four vendors, and it'll tell you and remind you what their discount is. Okay, now we also want to remind you that if you ever miss an episode of Live, you can always catch it later on our YouTube channel, which is just simply Quilt Craft Sew Mall. And be sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. If during the show you have questions for any of our vendors, hang on to those thoughts because at the end of the show, we're going to bring all four vendors back on the screen and you'll be able to type in your comments and we'll get all those questions answered. But again, hold those questions till the end because we generally get several hundred comments during the show and we don't want your question to get lost in the shuffle and back too far for us to see it. And also, every week we've made it a habit now of giving away some great door prizes. So we've got 5 terrific raffle prizes today. We're going to be giving away 3 pairs of Laurel Birch socks from Beyond Interiors. Counted Quilts is giving a choice of 3 of her awesome patterns. Farrells Country Stitchin is going to be giving away a $25 gift certificate. We also have a wonderful kit from Amy at Uniquely Crafts. It's actually a kit done with what she's going to demonstrate today. And we have a fabric bundle that I'll be donating from Quilters Haven. So listen later on in the show for the secret phrase. And when you hear that phrase, you'll simply type it in the comments and that will get you entered into it. Now, also as a reminder, we always like to remind you that we are streaming live over the internet. So on occasion, we may have some issues with sound or picture if some of the internet connections end up having a problem. Some of our vendors, like we always tell you guys, are very, very remote. So where we test everything in the morning, it's great. Big old storm comes through, knocks them out. I mean, these things just happen when you're using the internet. So if we ever have a vendor that is just consistently bad, we will stop them and reschedule them for later. But remember, whatever you see in here is exactly what we see in here in the studio. So you don't need to be telling us that the sound's bad. We already know, and trust me, I'm already stressing out about it. But also, Chris and I were chatting this morning, and we were so excited because, most of the Quilt Craft Sewing Festival shows are kind of western half of the United States. But we've been getting a lot of viewers and customers from the East Coast, which is so very exciting. So while you're watching today, if you wouldn't mind, just take a minute and just type in where you're watching from, because that's really fun for us to see where everybody's at all throughout the United States. Okay, well, with all that out of the way, we are ready to get started with today's first vendor, and I'm so excited to welcome Liane from Beyond Interiors. Are you there, Liane?
I am here. Thank you, Raylene.
Hey, we're so glad that you're joining us. We're glad to have some new faces today on the show. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you go crazy for the next 15 minutes.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome to Beyond Interiors. My name is Liane Scott. My business partner, Julie Miller, and I have been vending at stitching, quilting, sewing, knitting shows in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. So we've been doing it for over 3 decades, which is a very, very long time. But we specialize in Australian design and Aboriginal fabric, as well as Hawaiian, Japanese anime, and laurel birch fabrics. So we also carry a very few pieces of Indonesian and African fabrics as well. So I wanted to go over some of the things that we have made from the unique fabrics that we carry. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a sampling of our Japanese anime and Hawaiian. I happen to be wearing a shirt that I made out of Japanese anime, and I also made a mask, which we are all required to wear in California. With that, we also have made some pot holders, and those are some kangaroo Australian design. I've got some Japanese fabric here and some Australian Aboriginal fabric that we made some wonderful pot holders from. Those are just a few of what we sell. I wanted to show you some laurel birch panels that we also have made things from and sold and are quite popular. So I'm going to, I hope you can all see that. It's quite a large panel. Again, these are on our website. I'm also going to show you a little bit of fabric, that cat fabric from laurel birch. And she has a whole line of butterflies, flowers, and fish. And from that, we made a very cute napkin set. And these are, again, laurel birch flower fabric. Those are napkins. And kangaroo and Australian Aboriginal fabric. These are also napkins. I wanted to show you our set of table runners, and there's quite a few here, but I'm just going to hold them up and so you can kind of see they come in long and short. Here's laurel birch's flower pattern. Here's a kangaroo Australian design fabric. Here is one that has crocodiles and turtles. And again, these are all table runners that we have made and are on our website for sale. Here's another Australian Aboriginal fabric. Same with this one. And this one, all Australian Aboriginal fabric. From these, we've also made some gift bags, especially for wine bottles. And again, Australian, Aboriginal, and design fabrics. And we've got a set of Japanese and Hawaiian. And I've got a bottle in here so you can kind of see. It's got a nice little tie here and that as well. We also made a laurel birch Christmas dog stocking. So I'm going to kind of show that to you. So those are just some of the things that we have made from the fabrics that we carry. Some of these items are online for sale. Some of them we can help you with your project if we've got the fabric in stock, or we can even make you something that you pick out, providing, again, we've got the fabric. I also wanted to go over just a few things that we carry that have been very, very popular in our shows, and one being socks. Everybody can use socks. We've got cats, quilting girl, knitting girl. There's some llamas, some laurel birch socks, which we're giving away as a door prize today, elephants and dogs and horses. And we've also got some men's socks, bikes, beer and pizza, sushi, and we also carry some kids' socks. And those are, I don't know, pirates and pirate ships, some food, hamburger and tacos, and then some dinosaurs. So those have been very, very popular in all our shows. Julie makes one-of-a-kind jewelry. And the first one I'm going to show you is Venetian glass beads from Murano, Italy. And these are embellished with Swarovski crystal, vintage, Czech, and Japanese seed beads. Here's a pair of earrings that she's made. These are all one of a kind. This is lamp work, and this is hand-blown glass beads, again embellished with Swarovski crystal, Czech, Japanese, and seed beads. And we've got a pair of mismatched earrings, but we can also make matched earrings. And this is something my business partner makes, and they're all pretty much one of a kind. We carry a very unique line of another type of jewelry called Firefly. And many of you are familiar with that, but these are some of the styles of earrings. We've got a bracelet here and a couple of, I'm showing you a couple of necklaces that we also carry. And again, these are all on our website. True to Laurel Birch form, we absolutely love her design, but we carry a lot of her t-shirts. And here's one style. Here's another style called Polka Dot Cats. And another one that's another kitty on the side there. We've got them in all different sizes, again, on our website under our fun gift line. Here's a Laurel Birch bag with mermaids and fish. A dog purse. Another dog tote. And her blue cat line bag. These are all great for your sewing, knitting, stitching projects, or the smaller ones are great as purses. So we absolutely love Laurel Birch. We've carried her line for a very long time and have been very, very happy with her fabrics and all the things that she has designed over the years. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, but her designs live on. So as you can see, we have a very unique line of fabric. We also have wonderful jewelry that you can buy for yourself or as gifts, and whimsical socks, and also a whole line of these fun totes and purses and handmade items. So I hope you enjoy it. We are offering today, if you purchase a yard of fabric or 4 fat quarters, we will be sending you a free fat quarter, and shipping of $100 or more is free. So we hope you'll take a look at our website, www.beyondinteriors.com, and we look forward to helping you with your projects. And again, if we have the fabric and you would like us to make something, please email us. Again, that will be on our website, and you can get in touch with us. And if you have any questions on any of the things that we've made, we're happy to answer those questions as well. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing all of you in person.
That was absolutely awesome, Liane. It's like, guys, I know what she showed you was just the tip of the iceberg. But one of the things I love about her business is all of her super unique gift ideas. Because, we don't always have time to whip up a gift really quick. And again, her assortment is amazing. And that's on top of all those very unique and beautiful fabrics. So be sure, do yourself a favor. Make sure you check out her website after the show. And Liane, we hope you'll stick around for question and answer at the end. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Raylene.
Okay, well, moving on today, we're actually having a repeat visit from one of the vendors that had some of the best response of all the shows we've done. Lisa from Counted Quilts. Again, the response was so great when she was on the first time that we asked her to come back and go into a little more detail with her awesome patterns. So how are you, Lisa?
Doing good. Thanks, Raylene. Happy to be back.
We are so happy that you were able to get back on the show. So I'm going to just turn it over to you because I know you have a lot to share with us. So let's go for it.
Thanks. All right. Quick overview in case you didn't catch me last time, what a counted quilt is. It's an image style quilt, and people always come up at the show and say, are those applique? What are those? And they're not. They are traditionally pieced. It's done in strips, and we're going to go through real quick. When you open up a pattern, you're going to see something like this. It's going to give you different colors, how many strips to cut of each color. You're going to take those sets of strips and you're going to cross cut to different lengths and label ABC. Totally easy. And then you're going to see a full page image of whatever quilt you're working on. And you're going to go through row by row, piece by piece, and put it together. The shaping is done with quick corner or snowball or trim and flip or there's no method, right? We all change what we call it. But you're drawing that sew line corner to corner, and then you're going to do the little trim and flip it open so that you have a triangle. You're going to have small A's and big B's and occasionally a really large Q. So that's how a counted quilt goes together. Because it's super simple, great pattern for beginning, all straight cutting, all straight seams. A lot of people have asked me recently about the quilting, which is what I wanted to talk today. People say, okay, I put it together, it looks great. How do I not ruin it? How do I not change the image? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I too am working on a very basic machine with the walking foot. Occasionally I can get my mom to meander something beautifully, a large quilt, but usually I'm making baby quilts and I'm usually working with a walking foot. So this little kitty cat here, which when you buy pattern will look something like this. Anyone with this 3-in-1 means we have scaled it for you. You can make a small wall hanging, you can make the crib size, or you can make the large, we often refer to as the lap size, of 48 by 56. And border that, you can get all sorts of creative with throws and twin size and things like that. So once you've made your quilt and you've made this cute, adorable cat, then you can see here, I always do outline quilting around the image, which is just what it sounds like. I don't stitch in the ditch, but I go around each color with the matching color thread and outline and just kind of make him pop out. But especially on a simple pattern like this, where it's just the kitty cat, that's often not enough in the background. So because it's sewn in strips, it lends easily to just straight quilting, just going down each of those rows with your walking foot and tacking it down. And you can do that in the background, like on this cat, and leave him alone. Sometimes you'll be doing that in the image. So this is a brand new garbage truck. Had a grandmother who said, my 4-year-old grandson is obsessed with garbage trucks, which seemed like an odd request, but that story has come up more than once now. So this is the garbage truck pattern. Again, I outline, quilted all the different colors. And then this is a large area. So if you've got a walking foot, you may have a guide bar that you can stick on there. So you're still doing straight quilting, but you're going down. And there's actually a YouTube video where I show some of the ways I quilted this particular quilt down the center. So because everything is straight angles, you're going to have an easy time following other things. So if you want to get creative with filling space, this one I simply traced a plate with a chalk pencil and added a little sunshine in the corner. So don't be afraid to get creative to add things to the image. Again, the window was large, so put a couple, glare lines or follow the flow of the window. We added little squares in the tires. And as you learn, get comfortable with your walking foot. So this one I'm following the seam, but I decided not to stay on it, but wave a little back and forth, which makes the dirt just look kind of lumpy, as dirt often is. So there's lots of fun ways with just a walking foot to add to your image. So this is another one. This is our Happy Camper quilt. This is actually a crib size with an adorable camping border. I wish I could just show you the picture, but. And again, because it's large, I've gone through the image, down the seams to tack it down in the matching color, so it's not noticeable unless you're coming up and shining the light and seeing your quilting. And again, if you're getting comfortable with your walking foot and basic turns, it doesn't always have to be straight. You can see in those trees, just adding a little texture, making little V's. I often do that also in the grass. But those are things you can do with just your walking foot. Here's another. If you want to fill, some people like to fill the space a little more closely. This is a fox quilt. Make sure they're right side up. And you can see again, just outline quilted and then the wavy lines down through the grass. And another thing that I often do in filling background space is the cross hatching, where you're going to go both ways. I usually lay this on a table and do that with a ruler and a chalk pencil. Though I recently learned a great masking tape trick where you put the ruler down and instead of drawing that chalk line, you just set some masking tape there, follow your masking tape, and then you can pick it up and move it to the next one, which is great if you don't like marking your quilts. So that's a quick and easy way to make a straight line down, something like that. That one over there. One more, and what I'm going to actually demo for today. So when I made this cute little frog sitting in his pond, we also have a tree frog. There he is. And there was so much blue. I did, my traditional grass and outline all the fish are outlined and thought, what am I going to do in that blue water? And I decided it'd be fun. He's in a pond to make that look like ripples, to do some echo quilting, which is what we're going to demo in just a little bit. Often when you watch, so he has about a 1-inch echo around him, just the frog. And I skipped when I got to the fish and jumped around so they would still pop out and just did a little echo quilting. And part of the reason I wanted to, and then his belly was so big we did it in the middle. But part of the reason I wanted to demo this today was when I learned to echo quilt, when it was first introduced to me, I was shown to follow the edge of my walking foot and just use the side of your foot as a guide on the first line or seam and continue on. But my walking foot is only maybe 1/2 inch, 3/8. I love it for my binding, 3/8 inch. So that's a lot of lines and a lot of tight quilting, which you might say, I don't know if I want to do that much. So as my mom says, this is what works for me. So I'm going to show you how to do this just by cutting 2 little, these are just cardboard templates. These ones are labeled 2-inch is what we're going to do today, but obviously you can cut them all sorts of sizes, right? Depending on how thick you want to. It's my little 1.5. That's probably what that frog was. 3. And you can do this. So this is pretty bendable, like a cereal box type of cardboard, or I think these came out of fat quarters, the little support in the middle. And I just cut them, 2 of them, to 2 inches to how thick you want the echo to be. So we're going to move to the machine and show you how to do that. Breathing, can you switch? Thank you. So I'm finishing. This is a baseball player quilt. We're going around. So I've got 2. I'm going to show you outline quilting because a couple people asked me how I do that. So again, I'm just following the seam itself, not in the ditch, but just, people always ask me how close. So I thought I'd show you just barely outside that seam. Lift your foot, turn and flip. And you're just following all these straight seams. And that gets me back to the beginning of this guy. So scissors fell down. Let me trim that. All right, now we're going to echo in. So he's been outlined, and we're going to start the echo. We're going to flip one more time. Using our little guides here, we're going to go ahead. The bottom of the foot is only 1 inch, so obviously that's not big enough. And we're going to start this. Stitch. There we go. Using our 2-inch, and I'll show you why we're going to use 2 of those. And I just go and put that foot down to hold that where I want it. And where we're going to stop as we come up this, why I use 2, is if you simply slide your next one, right? Because the next place we're going to turn is 2 inches from this seam. So we're going to put our next 2-inch guide right there. And you're going to stop where that point of this hits your first guide. So we're going to set that there. And then we're just going to stitch down until we hit that point. Which is also going to tell you which way you're turning your quilt next. So we're going to turn. And right, we're following that one we just put down. This is a nice bendy leg, so we're going to be doing lots of turns, but it's not always the case. And we're going to put the second guide again, follow the line, because we want to be 2 inches away from that. That's the other thing. When you're using the guide bar, you don't always have your start and stop point. So that's why I like to use the 2 guides. So we're going to go down this way until we hit that second guide. Turn. Put that foot down and hold it still. And put the second one on. We stop again where the point hits the first guide. And turn. Don't worry, we're only going down one section of this. And you can lift it up and put it underneath. You can set it on top. Whatever, it makes it easier for you to see your two lines. This way. And when you get to somewhere like this where it's going to go both ways, you may have to say, I'm just going to go straight across, because by the time I go in that 2 inches and back out that 2 inches, I'm going to cross lines. So you'll have to kind of decide where you're going to. This one will go this way. Oops. It went down. There you go. And back to that point. Turn with the angle. This one's wide enough I still can come, so we're gonna keep coming there. Almost back up. So now I'm with close. So we're going to actually just turn because we run into the other seam. And I've gone over, so we'll go that way. And stop here. And going out around his arm. And this is a straight one, but the same idea. You're going to use your second guide and you're going to stop. You can even make it stick out so you know exactly where you're not stopping here because that's in line with the arm. That's why I put it on top. You're actually going to stop at the end of the 2 inches so you have the 2 inches to turn. This one is actually following the seam, which is great. Gives me another guide, which you'll find happens a lot. Almost done. Turn. And again, I'm going to stop. There's a nice long one. Turn. It's amazing how hard it is to talk and do this at the same time. So sorry you're just watching for a second. But and the last one will take us to the edge. Done with that echoing. So this is something you can do. We'll show you this great baseball one. This is actually coming soon. So we'll have to flip back. Go back to the big camera, Raylene. Thank you. So you can see as we've echo quilted around each of these baseball characters, just really gives them that added pop and leaves the silhouette characters. This brand new released today, dinosaur quilt, which is 6 dinosaurs in one. We also have the 6 construction vehicles. This is my #1 seller right now. So we've had to do it for dinosaurs too. I have 2 boys, one in love with dinosaurs, one in love with trucks. And we've outlined, done that same method just on these dinosaurs, filling in their background space. So it's a great way to easily fill space on a simple, easy pattern. So now they're just not just easy to sew, but easy to quilt.
Really great comments. So I know that the viewers are enjoying it as well. So we hope you'll stick around till the end. So we'll have our question and answer. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Eve.
Okay, guys. contest time. But first, I think we had a little bit of a glitch in getting the coupon codes up on that page. So don't worry. At the end, when we do question and answer, I'm going to go around the room and make sure that everybody knows everybody's specials that they have going on. So again, we've got 5 terrific prizes that were donated by today's vendors. And if you want to be part of that contest, in just a second, I'm going to tell you the word. But I do want to remind everybody, please only enter the word one time. When you put it in multiple times, it takes longer for me to get everything ready to pull the winners because I'm having to filter all of that out. Once again, once I pull the winners, which should be within an hour or two after the show, if nothing goes wrong, I will make a post right on this Facebook page that tells the name of the winners, what you won, and how to redeem it. We do need you to redeem those by Friday so that we can move on to our preparations for next week's show. But I will ask this, and I know this sounds kind of crazy, but if you're not interested in winning, please don't enter. Every week, we have people who never respond and what's the word I'm looking for? Claim their prize. And unfortunately, because we're all running our businesses aside from doing this, we just don't have time to go tracking everybody down. So please only enter if you want to win one of these terrific prizes. So today, to enter the contest, all you have to do is type in the comments the word March. Very appropriate. New month, March. Okay, so next up today is another first time appearance on our show. We've got Stephanie from Farrells Country Stitchin. Are you there, Stephanie?
I sure am.
Well, we are so excited to have you here. And, this is such a treat for Beth and I who are hosting the show because we get to see all you guys that we haven't seen for a year. It's really been fun for us. So I'm really anxious to see what you're going to show us today. So take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie. My husband and I own Farrells Country Stitchin', and I developed a ruler foot, well, actually a mini ruler foot, and Path Easy templates because templates were just too hard for me. So let me show you kind of this is our mini beginner set. So a regular ruler foot is 1/2 inch in diameter. Our mini one is only 1/4 inch. So for those little projects where some of the other ruler work is just too large, these are perfect. And the way the foot works, it actually sits right down in the groove. So once your foot's in the groove, it's kind of like training wheels. You can't get out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how they work. I always tell everybody to start with your clouds. Because it truly is the easiest one to start with. So I've got my little grip dots on the back. I'm just going to raise my foot. My template is going to go right under there, and I'm going to lower my foot down in that groove. So once I'm in the groove, you can see I can't get my foot out of there. And because the foot doesn't hop, it can't jump up on top of the acrylic either. All right, so at first you're just going to do a couple stitches frontwards and backwards and to lock that in, and then all we're going to do is stitch. And I'm just moving fabric and template together. And you don't have to have a big old extension table. If you have one, that's great. But if you don't, it's okay as long as you've got enough space that your template will sit on there nice and flat. You don't have to worry about ordering something else special to be able to do this. So now I'm at the end of that design. So I've gone all the way to the end of the path. And once I'm at the end, instead of what you think we're going to have to do is lift the foot and move the template, we don't. So foot stays down, and all you're going to do is twist this around, and you're ready to go again. So you're going to work your pattern across your entire quilt surface in rows. And I'm going to show you here in a minute how to nest those shapes. Because they nest, so if you're familiar with long arm quilting and what a pantograph is, pantographs nest so they don't look like they're stitched out in rows. So we want to make sure ours doesn't look like that either. We want people to think we really know what we're doing. So once I finish this third repeat, then I'll go ahead and slide down so I can show you exactly how these nest. It truly is that simple. We have a huge YouTube channel with tons and tons and tons and tons of videos. A little back stitch at the end of your row, so we're pretending. I'm really good at pretend. I got an A in that in kindergarten. Well, apparently I didn't bring out my scissors. That wasn't very good of me, was it? Oh, this is my assistance. Okay, so here we go. Now, when you come down to do the next row, so this started here like this. So all you're going to do is lower this straight down. Now, because I have to line it up here because I have to start on the edge of my quilt, it's not as easy as it could be. So what I generally tell my students is I slide this over and I line up the outside edge of that path with the stitch line in each of the little clouds right above, right here and right here. And then I bring this under, put my foot down in the groove, and then all I'm going to do is twist this around. It lines it back up perfectly, and I can just start again, just like we did on the previous row. So now you'll be able to see exactly how awesome this is. My foot came a little loose here. Let me tighten that up. You know, it's always when you're trying to do something. There we go. One of the big questions I get all the time is how do you get your stitch length the same? And people really believe it's because their stitches aren't even because they think that they are moving too fast. Well, that's just not true. You're really getting the longer stitches because your machine isn't going fast enough. So you want to make sure that you have set your speed on your machine rather quick, rather quick. So I keep mine about 3/4 of the way up because if I don't, I tend to outrun the sewing machine. And we don't want to do that. Oh! Well, hold on. That foot came loose again. Well, let me pull this out, tighten that back up. It scared me. And you can see how nice that just pokes right up there. Oh, gracious. Let's see. Foot down. I don't know why I can't stay tight today. But usually I can't get it untight. Can't get it loose. All right. Let's see. All right. So that is one of our Path Easy tools. So that's how those work. And they all work exactly the same, except for their different designs. Now, I'm going to show you another one of our most popular designs, which is the Flourish. So the Flourish tool is very cool because you can do so much. I use this tool actually in borders to do leaves. And I know it doesn't look anything like a leaf, but once you see it, it is very neat. Okay, so foot down. And all we're going to do, like I said before, you're going to do a little back and forth with your, to kind of knot that in place there. And then you're going to stitch right along the edge of that template. When you get to the end, you're going to stop needle down, slide the template forward, and stitch it again. Perfect. Now, I'm going to just turn my sample sideways, and as you can see on the template, there's little hash marks here. There's a little mark here and a little mark here. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide this in behind my foot, and I'm going to start where that first little hash mark is, and you're going to stitch from dip to dip. So stitch out and stop at that next little hash mark, and then you're going to turn your template to the opposite side of the foot and stitch back. And now you have a great leaf, and all leaves have to have a vein. So perfect little leaf. It doesn't take very long. And the great thing about leaves is they don't all have to be the same. So this one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, except for I'm going to make this leaf just a tad bit shorter. So I'm going out, around. I'm going to stop short of that second little hash mark. Turn my template around. And then again, I'm going to put the vein in the leaf. And so that's really nice, really quick, and it looks great. So for me, stitching on that same stitch line is kind of like stitching in the ditch. I don't do it well. So I'm just going to line my template right back up against the foot, and now I'll stitch right on that line, or just kind of echoing that line, and then I can do the leaves on the opposite side of that spine. But this is a great thing to do in your borders, you know, and it looks great on just about anything. So super fun, super easy. And, you know, leaves don't all have to be the same, and they're not perfect in nature. So there's, you know, there's really, you know, there's a lot of wiggle room there. So anyhow, I'm going to stitch one more little leaf here. And then I'm going to tell you about our awesome deal. Okay, and the vein in this leaf. All right. So there you go. Doesn't that look great? So you have your clouds and your leaves. And like I said, there's tons of YouTube videos online. You can go to Farrells Country Stitchin on YouTube and watch those. But you can also tune in every Saturday. We do live every Saturday where we do some great deals. And that's on Facebook under Farrells Country Stitchin. And our deal for today is we're offering our mini beginner set, which is right there. Comes with the foot for $99. Normally $129.99. So we're going to give away the mini beginner set, or not give it away, but sell it for $99. It comes with the foot. And Dusty, you never know what you're going to get in the box, because Dusty loves to give things away. So there's always some extra goodies in there.
That is so cool. You guys would totally be cracking up if you could see me here in the studio, because I was like jumping up and down, mind blown. I'm so excited. That is something I can even do. And there's people watching today that I know you guys know me, and you know I'm very upfront that I'm not the best sewer, I'm not the best quilter, but I was like jumping out of my chair. It's like, as long as I've seen you at shows, because we're always so busy, I've never had time to stop and watch your demo. So my mind is blown, absolutely
it's fun,
blown.
isn't it?
It's hysterical.
I
totally have to have that. And, you know, I hope that you can stick around, because we do have a few questions coming in
yes,
at the end of the show. So thank you so much. We're going to move on now. Okay. Last time, I'm going to remind you of today's secret word. So again, To get into the drawing for today, you want to type in the word March. And again, I ask that you just do that one time. If you already did it earlier, you don't need to do that again. Okay, so our last vendor today, I should say last, but certainly not least, Amy from Uniquely Crafts. I've known Amy for a super long time. One of her very first shows, she was right in front of us, so we really got to know her, and we've been friends throughout the years. And she's like a lot of vendors. She's kind of reinvented herself a few times, but she has now landed on the most awesome thing. I love watching her demo this when we're close to each other because it's so cool. It's easy enough for anybody, kids, adults, whatever. So I know you're going to have a blast. So hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hey, I'm going to turn this over to you because I want you to get started showing them how cool this really is. So take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, I'm Amy with Uniquely Crafts. I live here in the Midwest, so the time difference has been a little different for me today. But I'm here to show you the designs that I make. I make all my designs. The designs are all frameable, or they also fit on canvas blocks, like I'll show you after I'm finished with showing you how to do the demo. So basically, each kit comes with a tool set and your beads and the design sheet. So each pattern is going to be different. And I also have square beads and round beads. And so today I'm going to be showing you the square bead kit, which looks like this when it's finished. And so I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to show you. So I opened up, I looked here, and I'm just starting with Z. And so you pull this sheet back, and it's very, very sticky here. And I pour my beads into the tray, which I don't know exactly where I put my package of beads. And so I'm doing package number 27, which are all of the Z's. Now, square beads fit closer together, which I get more of the image and more shading and definition when I use square beads, because it's kind of like cross stitch compared to the round beads once you'll see that. So basically all I'm doing is I'm just picking up the bead and I'm just putting it on the Z, and it just sticks and they don't come off. Now, after a while, if you're picking up the beads and the bead's not picking them up, there's a tube at the end. And what you do is you pull this sheet back and you press this all the way in. And that fills that tube up with wax. And this wax actually is what helps pick up the beads out of the tray. And so I'm just picking up the beads and I'm just putting them on the Z's. Now, there's no, rhyme or reason. You can start over in the corner, you can start in the middle. I always like to pull it back, that way I'm not sticking to this sheet, and so it's a little bit easier. And so I'm just picking them up, and I'll do one color for a while, and then I get bored of doing this color, so then I'll look and see what number 5 is. So then I'll look for number 5, and 5 is 550. And on all my packages, it has the code, my serial number to all my kits. So I'll just pull this back, and then I just find package number 5, which should be all in order, and they're actually stuck together. And then I would just pour this into the tray and start on my number 5s. Once I get tired with a number, I just pour it back into the Ziploc bags. And I do make all of my kits so they're actually the Ziploc bags, or in Ziploc bags, I should say. So these are square beads. And like I said, square beads, they fit closer together, which gives you more image and more shading. Now, if I did this design in round, I really wouldn't get all of this definition if you look at it. And as you're doing it, you're like, oh, I don't understand why this color is going here. But once you get it done, it looks more like the actual picture. And that's my goal in the very end, is when I design these and I put these into the programs, the cross stitch programs, that I change the colors a little bit just so you can get that dimension in that design. And so this is actually a 12 by 12. And like I said, all of my designs actually fit actual size frames or on canvas blocks. So that's this design that I'm working on here. And so now I'm going to switch over to some round beads, which round beads are a lot easier. So if you're a beginner, sometimes people like round beads rather than square beads. Some people like square beads rather than round beads. It just varies on what you like to do. And I actually lost my sheet, which is down here. So I'm getting down to the very end on here on this round kit, which that's why I brought this, so you guys can see how I'm finishing it. But once the more beads you get on here, the more that this is not going to stay down. I do try and like press it down wherever there is spots, but I do make it where around the edge there's a sticky part, so you can actually just take your fingers and put it around the edge to keep this plastic on so nothing gets on it. Now I do have dogs. I do get dog hair on these and the beads still stick, so it's not a big deal. But on all of my sheets, I also put that this sheet is actually not reversible. So if you put it the wrong way, you might have a hard time pulling it back. And that's the reason why. So that's why if you follow the label and just keep it on there, because once you get the more beads on here, like you can see here, the plastic really doesn't want to stay. And so I'm getting down to the nitty gritty on this one. And so like I said, I just always pull my sheet back to wherever I'm working to. And I'm working on 3848, which are all of the small little O's, which are right here. And so I have my tray ready because I've already dumped them in for the demo. And I'm just picking them up and I'm just putting them on the zeros and they just stick. Now, round beads, as you can tell, there's in-between spots compared to the square beads. And you can move them around. The nice thing about my sheets that I've developed is there's a little bit of wiggle room. So if I put one here and it's actually supposed to go over here, you can actually move it over to that area rather than it just being completely stuck on there. And you can also pull them off. Sometimes if you flip them, a lot of times I just use my fingernails. And if you put the wrong color in the wrong area. Now you can take like a ruler in between or like a card or things like that and it'll straighten the lines up. That's the thing about round beads is it's a little bit harder to straighten the lines. You get a lot of little curvy lines compared to the square beads where, like I said, the square beads, the difference you can see, I'll put the difference between the two. So, but round beads you can kind of put wherever you want, you don't have to make sure that they're lined up. But square beads do, like I said, they are nice because they do line up and you have different holes in between here. And as you're filling them in, they do pop into place and make a nice little snapping noise that people like. So just to kind of rephrase, when you first start, you just there's a tube at the end and you pull this back and you press it in and it fills that tube up with wax. And like I said, that's what helps pick up the beads out of the tray. Now, there's another end to this, and this end actually picks up several beads. And if you shake the tray, the beads will start popping right side up. And so, because there's little grooves into this tray here. And so I kind of line them up with my fingers sometimes, depending on what I want, how many beads I need. And so there's a whole bunch of O's in this area, in these areas. So I'm just going to take my tool and I'm just going to press them down, which gives me a line of beads. And I'm just going to press them and push them down just like that. And that kind of takes a little bit more time, takes away a little bit away from that time that you're doing these. And then so the other thing is when you're filling it up with wax, you pull this back and how you can see how I put this in and I put that wax in here. And usually it takes quite a bit of beads and quite a bit of time before you actually have to fill up these wax areas. You'll know when the pen's not picking up the beads or when this end isn't picking up the beads that you need more wax. And you usually get a little bit more wax you get more wax than what you really need. Some people go through the wax more because they think that they need it because the bead's not picking up just right for them, which is not a big deal. The nice thing about me is if you lose a package of beads, you spill a package of beads everywhere, you lose your wax, which most people do, or your pen, or your dog chews something up, you just send me an email, which is in my instruction sheets, and I replace it at no charge. I have plenty of extra sets of tools and beads at home. So, and sometimes I make mistakes because when I'm putting them together, I sometimes will get distracted and I'll forget to put something in. And like I said, it's not a big deal. I just replace it. You get it within about 3 to 4 business days through the post office. So these are the different kits that I have, which are the round beads and the square beads. And like I said, I try and make all my designs to look like the actual pictures. As you can see, I've done a button jar, which is a lot of people's favorite. And I've also done, a lot of people love this at the shows. This thing's been around for a long time. It's been in the rain. But the nice thing is they do survive rain and weather. But after you're done, so now that I've completed this, you will cut the edge off of this. And so then it's just just the design. Now you can either decide to spray glue it onto a canvas block. These all fit standard size frames, so you don't have to go out and spend $100 or $200 on framing. And so all I did was I just cut the edge off and I spray glued it, and then I spray clear acrylic over top of it, which seals the beads into place. And they will have a shimmer to them depending on where the light hits them. So this is the frog. He's a 12 by 12. And the one that I showed you with the cactus that I'm working on, this is actually a 12 by 16 to kind of give you the measurements of each one. Now I do try and make my sheets a little bit thicker so there's no creases in when you're working on it. They're just a little bit more durable. I work one-on-one with manufacturers, so I'm constantly changing to try and make a better product. And so the other nice thing is all of mine have numbers and letters and have no crazy symbols, which are hard to read. I'm still, like I said, trying to change some of the sheets as I go along of things that I don't like or what things that I do like. So I'm just going to show you some other things that I do have on my website. And so here's another one. So this is the button jar that I've actually put onto a canvas block. Now this is a 16 by 20. If I did it any smaller, it wouldn't look like the actual pictures. So that's why I do the sizes I do. Now this one I framed. So it's the same exact size, but there's 2 different ways. And all I did, like I said, was I just cut this off and I just put it right into the frame, and just quick, easy fix. So no spending $100 or $200 on that crazy framing. So here's a couple more designs just to kind of show you how I really try and put more definition into these pictures when I'm doing them. So I have this one. And then I also want to show, this is going to be my giveaway kit. So I'm giving away a kit to do for you that you're going to do. That's the sewing machine. And like I said, just put it right into that frame. Couple other ones just real quick that are really popular that I brought was the coffee, because everybody loves coffee. Unfortunately, Diet Pepsi is my coffee. And then around Christmas time, I have the gnomes, and this is extremely popular. I also have a couple other gnomes that I'm coming out with. Valentine's Day I had one, and I'll have that back out again. And so then I also have, so any age, I say 5 and up can do these. So the kids kits, what I've made, they're just little small kids kits. So it's an easy way for kids to do. And so there's different ways you can finish it. This, I just got a little block and I just put scrapbooking paper on it. But usually what you can do is you can cut the edge off and just put it right onto a 4x4 canvas block that you can get for $1.50 at Walmart or something. So these are a couple different kids kits that I have. I also have boy ones. I have basketball, baseball, different things like that. And these are $8, just to kind of give you an idea. Try and keep them cheap because I want kids to be able to do something fun and enjoy themselves. Now I also have for girls, which are really popular, I have the compacts, and these are just little fun gifts even. And I've even had parents that have bought the kids kits for like little birthday parties and things like that, and they just love it. It keeps them occupied for hours. So these are the compacts, and these are $14 for the kit, and that comes with everything that you need. And then I also have the pencil boxes, and these are kind of fun. You can kind of just put whatever you want into them. So here's a couple different styles here for you. I have several other styles online. And then I also have bookmarks. So this is just a sample bookmark for you. Several, like I said, different designs. And then I also have the journals. And some journals are lined, some are not. These are really fun for gifts. A lot of people buy these, especially around like Christmas time, to give either as a gift or to receive, to make and give as a gift. And then I also have several different types of cards. This is a birthday card. I also have Christmas cards and things like that. A lot of people buy the Christmas cards because they actually fit into a 5x7 frame. So you can not only just give the card as a gift, but you can also put it in a 5x7 and frame it and give it to somebody also. And I didn't bring any of those today, but later on you'll see that on my website, or if I ever do this again. So, but yeah, so like I said, I make all my designs. I try and make my designs look all like the pictures. I try and, if you have an issue or something like that happens, you just let me know, and it's not a big deal. I replace it at no charge. I was thinking I forgot one thing to show you. So I also have sketch lights, and sketch lights are really nice because if you have a hard time seeing, it actually helps to bring the letters up. And so I'll just show you real quick. But the sketch lights, as you can see how it brightens it right through so you can see it. So if you don't have really good eyes or things like that, or it's dark in your house where you're sitting, it just makes it really easy to see those letters. And so I do sell these. I'm out of stock right now, but they will be back online. I'm also coming out with a couple different types of tool sets that are going to be new. And I have some new designs that'll be coming out by either the end of this week or on Monday, depending on what time I'm able to get them put together and online and make sure I have all the pieces to them. And so I'll just show you real quick one last time on the sketch light with the square beads, because it really does show on the square beads since I don't have as many beads here. But you can see how that brings that forward. So this is off on the sketch light. And then if you put the sketch light on, it really brings those letters out so it's easier to see. Now sketch lights, this is a traveling size and I have a medium size. I've tried different sketch lights. Some are really good, some are really bad. I really like this company that I get them from. They last. I'm very hard on things when I'm traveling. So if they can outlast me, they can definitely outlast anybody. So the giveaway, or what I'm giving away, or not really giving away, well, yeah, I'm giving away the sewing machine, but I guess my code and my coupon that I'm doing until tomorrow night at midnight is WILD is the code, and it's 20% off of anything that you see on my website, even the clearance. So there's the clearance kits I'm not going to make anymore, and I'm going to be adding some more to that too, because I'm trying to rotate new designs in. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
That was so awesome, Amy. I told you guys, I love her kits because anybody can do them. The kids, the adults, and it's a great way to pass time and then to have all those beautiful gifts. So be sure you check out her website and see all those things that she has to offer. So thanks so much, Amy. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes for Q&A. Okay, so it is that time now. It's time for our question and answer, and Ron's going to be working on getting everybody back up on the screen. But I'm going to start off because I've had a question come to me through my email, and it's actually, I've had the same question several times the last week or so. So I just thought I would answer it here in case other people were wondering. And that question is, are you going to keep doing Wild Wednesday once the shows start back up? And the answer is yes. We don't know exactly how we're going to do it. We have a few different ideas because, as most of you guys know, when we have a show, we set up on Wednesday, so we wouldn't be able to do a regular show. But we know that even when shows start, there's not going to be a lot of them happening. It's still going to be a while before we're back to a full-blown schedule. So we know there's a possibility a lot of you guys aren't going to be able to see us at shows for a while still. And because we're getting so many viewers from areas that we don't necessarily hit, we will be still staying in touch with you this way. So don't worry, Wild Wednesday for right now is here to stay for a while. Okay, so if you have a question for any of our vendors, even if you already typed it earlier, I'm going to ask that you type it again so that it's up on the screen where I can see it. And I'm going to field those questions right now. And I'm going to start, though, by going around one by one and ask you guys all the same questions. So I'm going to start with Liane. And that is, what is your discount? That's good till tomorrow at midnight. And do they need a special code for that? So Liane, you're first.
They do not need a special code. And our gift for the show is you purchase 1 yard of fabric or 4 fat quarters. You will get a free fat quarter that we will send you. And shipping is free for $100 or more.
Awesome. Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, so remind us, what is your discount and do they need a code?
Yes, for the Wild Wednesday through tomorrow night, for the 20% off will be WW20, Wild Wednesday 20, WW20. And I believe in the mall, which might be what confuses some people, throughout the show, if you link from the mall, there's a 10% discount, mall 10. So that's all the time, but you get 20% off through tomorrow night. So
Awesome. Okay, and Stephanie?
Okay. Our code is, I forgot I should have this written down, is RB3321. RB3321. I think.
Okay, great. And Amy, remind us again real quick what yours is. Amy, can you hear us?
My code is WILD, and it's 20% off anything on the website.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get to the viewer questions. Suzanne would like to know what weight thread was being used by Farrells Country Stitchin'.
I was using a 40 weight thread on both in the top and in the bobbin. Typically, that's what I use most all the time is a 40 weight.
Great. Let's see here. Ginny would like to know for Beyond Interiors, says the dinosaur socks, what do they cost? And do you have the small toddler size?
It depends on the size. If you should go to our website. I don't know, it's different prices for different sizes is the best thing I can say. And if she wants the dinosaur, it's best to go on our website since we've been in several shows. I don't know what the quantity is. If we don't have what she wants, she can email me and I can tell her how quickly we can get it.
Awesome. Okay, another question for those awesome rulers. Can the rulers work with any ruler fit? And can you buy just the rulers?
Yes to all of those things. So you can buy it any way you want, but we do have ruler feet that will work with any ruler foot. Like if you have a foot from a different company, we do a classic. This is our classic size, and it has a 1/2 inch wide path. So if you've got that larger ruler foot, it fits in here. And then if you are never done ruler work before, I always suggest starting with the mini because it truly is easier.
Great. Okay, another one for Farrells. This is coming from Annie. She would like to know, what do you use to keep the layers together? Are you using an adhesive spray or safety pins, or how are you sandwiching that together?
Yes, I use 505 spray based. 505 is my all-time favorite. It doesn't gum up my needle. It's temporary. It washes out, and it works really, really well. I do have a video on our YouTube channel that explains exactly how to layer it and how to do big quilts in your regular sewing machine.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Amy, another question for you. Where to go? Oh, what do you think is the best way to frame your works? Can you hear us,
To
Amy?
frame my work.
Yeah. What is the best way to frame the designs?
So I personally like to do it behind glass. It still shimmers depending on where the light hits it. Um, I don't like to use a lot of glass when I'm on the road because I hang all of my stuff and there's a fear of it falling off and glass breaking everywhere. So I use a lot of it on the canvas blocks. People like the canvas blocks because another thing, you can put fabric around the end and make it a smaller design. I've done this on the road, but they like it just because it kind of pops out and you can paint the edge to whatever you like, whatever your color is. It just varies on your opinion. I do better with it framed because I'm so hard on these, but if you're just putting it on your wall, it's not going to hurt anything. So
Great.
it just is up to you, your preference.
Awesome. Another question for Stephanie. Suzanne would like to know if your foot will fit on a Bernina.
It will. We have a Bernina makes an adapter. It's a number 75 or 77, depending on how old your machine is. And there's a full list on the website, so you can go to our website. You can look up Bernina shank adapter, and it's going to tell you what Bernina's fits for which foot. And for the Bernina, you just need a short shank foot in that adapter. And I screwed up my code.
Uh-oh.
Let me give you the real code. Somebody had to text it to me. RB3321-25.
And also, guys, Chris is monitoring the comments, and he has typed that in the comments as well. So just look for that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We've got a couple more questions. And I don't remember now who asked this one, but Amy, someone asked if they have beads and things left over. Are they the same? Like, do you number or letter them the same in every kit, so they would have extras for another kit, or are they different in each kit depending on the bead color? Does that make sense?
So beads are, yeah. So beads are kind of like dialogues, like with yarn. So a bead can change its color just by just a very hint of a shade that you don't realize. But yes, they are all DMC numbers.
Great.
And
And
like
another quick,
by the lot numbers, they can change by just one little.
another question someone had,
What's
Amy,
that?
is that they've done a lot. There's another customer that has said they've done a lot of your kits, and so they still have their tools, their little trays, etc. They're wondering, do you sell just the bead and the canvas part, or the mat part without all the extra tools?
Well, when I put them together, I always just put a tool set in because it's easier for me. Just because I kill up like at 10 at a time. So if I didn't put a tool set in and somebody was buying one for the first time, it already has that tool. I would have to put that in depending on the person. So when I'm kitting them at home, it's easier for me just to put everything in there and just have it as that.
Gotcha.
That's the hard part about it, is I just put everything in them.
No problem. And Barbara was asking about.
I am coming up with blank sets. I'm sorry,
Awesome.
what?
That's okay. We got you. Barbara, this is actually a Stephanie question, but Stephanie answered it, so you might not have heard. But if you go to her website, you can check about what feet from what machine, or whether her feet will fit on the different machines. So that's all on her website. And let's see, we had one or two more questions. Oh, Amy, how long does it usually take to do one of your projects? And they said, I'm sure it depends on the size.
It does depend on the size. I always say, if you want to start out with something simple and small just to see if you like it, I have the partial kits, which I forgot to show, and I actually just taped this on. But what that means is part of it is beads, but the background is just canvas. And so you're not doing the whole thing. And the pen does pick up the bigger beads. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of new partial designs coming out at the end of this month. But it just varies on how much you work on it. And, I'll work on it a couple hours each night. And sometimes it could take me 4 hours, sometimes, or, it could take me 4 days, or it could just take me just a couple of days. It just varies also on the design and how much in depth it is. So like this mandala would take me a lot longer than this cactus because there's a lot of the same colors in the same area.
Got it. Okay, we've got one more question before we end today, and I'm sure that more than one person has this. Once again, they're asking, how will we know if we were a winner today? So in the next couple of hours, I will get all this together, and I will pull the winners, and then I'm going to post it right here on the Quilt Craft and Sew Facebook page. If you're a winner, you'll see your name, which prize you won, and the email that you need to use to send me your contact information so that we can get the prize to you. So, this has been one of the best days we've had for questions. It's like everybody's had some terrific questions. We want to take a moment, first of all, to thank all of our vendors for appearing today. I actually had as much fun as I think anybody else did. This was so much fun for me this week. And so I thank all of you guys again. We'll probably be asking all of you to come back again at a later date. So thank you to all of our vendors today. And just to wrap up, we just want to remind everybody that all these specials that the vendors were offering are good till tomorrow night, Thursday at midnight. So if you saw something you can't live without, don't waste time. Jump on those websites, get those orders in. And once you finish shopping with today's vendors, make sure you wander around the rest of the mall because all of your favorite craft and sew vendors are there and they are ready, willing, and able to get those orders out to you quickly. And, the last thing we always like to say at the end of every show is you just will never in a million years, guys, know how much we appreciate all the support that our great customers and friends have given us during this, what is now a year of being off the road. Without you guys, we would not still be here. So we are really looking forward to getting back out there. Like I mentioned last week, it's looking really, really good for possibly late May, early June. But as soon as dates are solidified, that will be on the Quilt Craft and Sew. They're on their webpage. It will be all over Facebook. Believe me, we're all going to be shouting it from the rooftops as soon as we have dates. So again, we thank everybody for joining us this week. We hope we will see you next week. But before then, just go out and make the next 7 days super creative. And we'll see you again next Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody.